Welcome to Slash Forward. We're going to keep the awkward sexual interactions rolling with the 1984 slasher Don't Open Till Christmas. My print has forced Russian subtitles for some reason. Let's get to it. We open on a slender Santa meeting his best gal for a date. He romantically guides her to the back seat of his car while we get a mouth breather's view of the action. Wait for the climax. When confronted, he shows this bull what penetration feels like and then stabs his girl's womb. An action I'm sure is rich with metaphorical subtext. We then transition to what seems like a Halloween party, but is likely a Christmas party as Santa appears to be the big reveal here. A shrouded figure lurks in the crowd, picking the right moment to spear Santa through the back of the head. You chose well, my friend. You chose well. Then, on to Scotland Yard, where Inspector Ian Harris and his partner Powell are working to solve the killings. They start by interviewing Santa's daughter, Kate, informing her of their near-total ignorance. In the midst of all this investigating, another Santa goes down, although the killer misses an opportunity for irony as neither his chest nor his nuts are roasted over the open fire. Inspector Harris receives a package with instructions to not open it until Christmas. Why the hell not? Back at the office, the partners commiserate over everyone's incompetence being greater than their own. I mean, am I right? People are so stupid. Later, journalist Giles Harrison calls Powell to offer his assistance in solving the crimes, but not too much assistance. The offer itself was the assistance. Kate and her companion Cliff partake in an evening of busking, meeting Cliff's old buddy Jerry. Over drinks, Jerry invites Cliff to his studio for some casual photography, suggesting he bring Kate. When they arrive, we find Jerry has a specialty in boudoir photography. Jerry somehow gets Cliff to agree to pressure Kate into a couples session, for old time's sake. However, she's understandably put off by this and heads out, but the photographic process proves to be too alluring for Cliff, and he ends up locked outside with Sharon. They're seen by two bobbies, basically fornicating in the streets, so they cheese it and get split up. Sharon ends up in a shadowy alcove, ideal for a pervy killer who works in the dark. She stands there for as long as it takes to be deemed not Santa, and her attacker runs off. The inspectors then arrive to find out what she knows and shame her for her chosen profession. This movie has a message, you see. Peep Show Santa finds himself at an establishment of ill repute, where he has a brief conversation with a girl in a box. Being his first time, that's all it takes for him to splurt his life force all over the glass. Back with Cliff and Kate, we find that Cliff had it out with Jerry about being locked out, not about the nude photography. Harris shows up to check on Cliff's whereabouts the previous night, and Kate vouches for him. Then we find Giles rooting through Powell's files, barely playing it cool. He tells Powell he should keep an eye on Harris and then dips. Powell tries to do so but fails. In a brief intervening shot, a statement that describes pretty much the whole movie, we find that Harris didn't show up to the inquest for Kate's father, and Cliff proclaims his love for her, confusing our understanding of their relationship. That night, the murders continue at the Christmas fair, where we get a twofer, spiked knuckle punch and the gentle placing of a knife in a face. The next day, we find Kate and Cliff hard at work. Kinda. They run across Harris, who offers Kate a shoulder to cry on should she ever need it, and she seems enthusiastic about the offer. She later tries to ring him, and his housekeeper lets slip that he's at Parkland, but he may not want anyone to know, so shut up about it, okay? Meanwhile, our dancer is confronted by the killer, who she recognizes by his eyes and his enthusiasm about killing her. He gives chase, dragging her to a secluded apartment where she tries to convince him she's cool.
I didn't see your face.
Oops. He then monologues about sex workers, even though he's been killing men, and gives her some time to think. Powell finds out Harris is off the case. Now in charge, he releases Cliff, feeling confident he knows the right man. Somehow. Meanwhile, in the theater district, another drunk Santa finds himself in familiar circumstances, with predictable results. Although, if you thought this would come to fruition without an intervening dance production, think again, allowing for a dramatic reveal. The next day, Kate tells Powell about Ian's visit to Parkland, a loony bin, and she says Harris isn't his real surname. How she came to know this information, we have no idea. Powell leaves, so she calls him from a payphone to continue the conversation. Then, on to another Santa, who nearly dies just from using the towel roll on his face. This guy ends up getting his schlong chopped off, and we can tell he was touching it. Then we find Kate, somewhere. When Giles shows up, somehow, he tries to brag.
I'm a member of society.
We all are, Giles. And then he gets handsy, so she reveals that she met with Dr. Bridle and knows that Giles and Ian are brothers, but not because Dr. Bridle told her.
I worked it out myself.
Why is everyone bragging so much? The detective visits Giles at Parkland regularly, but he wants more attention, so he kills Santas, and now ladies as well. Powell shows up shortly afterward and almost checks her vitals. Nah, she did. Giles then visits his side piece in the city. With some quick thinking, she crosses her fingers when promising not to bash his face in with a log, affording her the option to do just that when he unties her. But the door is locked. Looking for something? Haha. She runs off, but finds stairs to be her weakness. And doors. Doors are a problem, but his problems are chains and balance, so things work out in her favor. He comes to, and we're treated to a contextual flashback, where we find his trauma started, no shit, when he walked in on Santa getting up in this girl's guts. They don't even stop when they see him. It's unclear how these parties are all related, but it cut deep for him, leading to a life of derelict behavior. We end with Harris opening his special present from his brother, which is a delightful little music box. filled with dynamite. And that was Don't Open Till Christmas. What a week, filled with festivity and life lessons. Gentlemen, if you learned anything, please remember to remove your robe and Santa hat before engaging in intercourse. For the benefit of children everywhere, I beg you. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.